Brother, please don't die. Please, please don't die.
They were born on the same day, under the same leaking hospital roof, wrapped in the same thin government blanket. They shared the same face, the same smile, the same blood. But somehow, life wrote two different destinies on their foreheads. One would rise, the other would disappear into the shadows. Yet the one in the shadow would be the reason the other ever touched the light. This is the story of Peter and Paul, twin brothers, and how love from one heart was not enough for two. Ajegunle never slept. Even at dawn, the streets were already alive. Bus conductors shouting destinations, pepper sellers arguing prices, the smell of fried akara floating through the air, children chasing tires barefoot. In a small two-room face me I face you building lived Peter and Paul Okoye, twins. But not the sweet kind people talked about. They didn't finish each other's sentences. They didn't dress alike. They didn't even like each other. At least, one of them didn't. Peter was quiet, gentle, soft-hearted, the kind of boy who would give away his last biscuit and go hungry without complaint. Paul was sharp-tongued, proud and restless, always angry at the world for something he couldn't explain. Their mother, Mama Nkechi, used to say, Peter carries the heart, Paul carries the fire. Their father died when they were 10, a keke accident on 3rd Mainland Bridge. After that, poverty entered their house like an uninvited landlord and refused to leave. School fees became war, food became calculation, dreams became luxury. But Peter never complained. Paul complained every day. Why are we always poor? Paul would shout. Look at Emeka, his father bought him new shoes. See us, same torn sandals for 2 years. Peter would just smile. It will be better, Paul. Just wait. One day you'll see. Paul hated that smile. It looked like pity. And Paul didn't want pity. He wanted escape. In secondary school, their differences grew louder. Peter woke at 4 a.m. to fetch water for Mama Nkechi before school. Paul slept till the last minute. Peter helped neighbors carry loads for small tips. Paul refused. Peter shared his food. Paul hid his. Yet Peter always defended Paul. When teachers punished Paul for fighting, Peter knelt too. When Paul broke a neighbor's window, Peter paid for it with his savings. When boys bullied Paul, Peter fought for him. And every time, Paul would snap. I didn't ask you to help me. Stop acting like my father. But Peter only laughed. You're my brother. That's enough reason. Still, Paul's heart grew colder because deep down he felt something he never admitted: inferiority. Peter was loved. Teachers praised him. Neighbors trusted him. Even their mother always said, Peter, you are my strength. Paul heard that as, Paul, you are my problem. And jealousy is a quiet poison. It doesn't kill immediately. It waits. One evening, during a blackout, the twins sat outside under the moon. Paul spoke first. I'm leaving this place one day. Peter looked at him. Leaving? Yes, I'll be rich, big house, big car. Nobody will look down on me again. Peter smiled. I'll be happy if you succeed. Paul frowned. And you? What about you? Peter shrugged. As long as you're okay, I'm okay. Paul stared at him. Why are you like this? Like what? Like you don't want anything for yourself. Peter looked up at the sky. I want one thing. What? For you to be happy. Paul looked away quickly, because for 1 second, he almost felt guilty. Years passed. WAEC results came. Paul scored higher, very high. A scholarship opportunity came from a private university in Lagos. But there was one problem: acceptance fee, 200,000 naira. To them, it might as well be 2 million naira. Mama Nkechi cried that night. We can't afford it, my son. Maybe next year. Paul exploded. Next year? You want me to waste my life like this place wasted yours? He kicked a bucket, storming outside. Peter watched silently. Then he stood up. Mama, don't worry. Paul will go. How? She asked. Peter smiled. I'll handle it. Nobody knew what Peter did, not even Paul. Peter stopped school, told everyone he lost interest, but that wasn't true. He got 3 jobs: morning, bus conductor; afternoon, mechanic apprentice; night, security guard. He slept 3 hours a day. He ate once. His hands developed blisters. His eyes sank. But slowly, money gathered. When it wasn't enough, he sold his phone, then his clothes, then his small radio. Finally, he sold the only thing their father left him, his father's old wristwatch, the watch he treasured like gold. The day he handed Mama the full amount, she cried. "Peter, this is too much. What about you?" He smiled. "Paul is our future." The day Paul left for university, the whole street celebrated. Peter carried his box to the bus stop. Paul looked excited. Fresh haircut, new shirt, hope in his eyes. "Don't mess this up," Peter said softly. Paul smirked. "Of course not. I'm not you." The words stung, but Peter still smiled. "I'll call you when you reach." Paul nodded casually. The bus drove off. Peter waved until the bus disappeared. Then he walked home alone. For the first time, the street felt too quiet. At first, Paul called weekly, then monthly, then rarely. University changed him. New friends, rich friends, English accents, big dreams. Soon, Ajegunle became that dirty place. Peter became that brother. Paul graduated with first class, got a job at a tech company, started earning more money than Peter had ever seen. Peter was proud. He told everyone, "That's my brother, my twin." But Paul stopped coming home. He said he was busy. When Mama called, he sent money instead, as if money could replace presents. One Christmas, Paul finally visited. He came with sunglasses and a car. The street children stared like he was a celebrity. Peter ran out excitedly. "Paul!" Paul hesitated, then gave a quick handshake. Not a hug, a handshake, like strangers. "You still live here?" Paul asked, looking disgusted. Peter laughed awkwardly. "Where else would I live?" Paul shook his head. "You have no ambition, Peter." Peter froze. "No ambition?" He swallowed. "I'm just happy you made it." Paul didn't answer. That night, Peter overheard something. Paul talking on the phone. "No, I don't really have family like that. Just distant people." Peter's heart stopped. Distant people? After everything? He walked quietly back to his room, sat on his bed, and for the first time in years, Peter cried. Not because he was poor, not because he was tired, but because the person he loved most had erased him, like he never existed. 2 weeks later, Peter collapsed at work. Exhaustion, untreated ulcer, malnutrition. His body had been running on sacrifice for years. Mama called Paul. "Your brother is in the hospital." Paul sighed. "I'm in a meeting, Mama. Send me the bill, I'll pay." "He's asking for you." "I'll come later." But later didn't come fast enough. By the time Paul arrived, Peter looked smaller, thinner, almost fragile. Paul sat beside him awkwardly. "Why didn't you take care of yourself?" he muttered. Peter smiled weakly. "I didn't want you to worry." Paul looked away. Then the doctor handed him something, a small envelope. These are his old belongings. Inside, receipts, payment slips, loan notes, and one old faded paper. Paul read it slowly. Every payment, every sacrifice, every naira, all the money that sent him to university, Peter. Not Mama, not scholarship, Peter. Paul's hands shook. The watch receipt was geared too. Father's wristwatch, sold. Paul remembered that watch. Peter loved it more than anything. He sold it for him. Paul's chest tightened, like something heavy sat on his heart. Paul rushed back to Peter's bed, tears streaming. "Why didn't you tell me?" Peter smiled softly. "I didn't want you to worry." Paul looked away. Then the doctor handed him something, a little envelope. For the first time, seeing the body of his brother, Paul broke. He sank onto his knees, wailing like a child. Months later, Paul resigned from his job. He came back to Ajegunle. People were shocked. The big man had returned. But Paul didn't care. He renovated their old house, opened a free learning center, sponsored poor children to school, named it Peter's Dream. Every day, he told the kids, success means nothing if you forget who lifted you. At night, he sat outside alone, holding an old, cheap watch he bought to replace the one Peter sold, looking at the sky, whispering, I shine because you burned for me, brother. Because sometimes, the brightest stars are the ones we never notice until they disappear. And sometimes, the person you neglect is the very reason you ever succeed. The end. Subscribe to this channel for more interesting African stories and don't forget to like, comment and share.